Hi, my name's Doug Wilson and welcome back to another Kundalini yoga and meditation class. Today we're going to be working specifically on releasing tension out of areas in the neck, but also around the throat and more subtle regions of the body, getting into what's known as parts of the endocrine system, specifically the thyroid and parathyroid glands, and then moving towards a final meditation of working with very subtle energy around the throat chakra. So if some of these concepts are foreign to you and you haven't heard terms like this before, I'd highly recommend going out and checking the video prior to this one to get a little bit more insight around the science of what we're working with, because today I just want to focus on the technique and having the experience, which is predominantly what Kundalini yoga is trying to portray. It's the yoga of self-awareness. We're working with the subtle and fundamental energies of the body. So just starting to set that intention now that we are going to tune into the practices of yoga and meditation. We're going beyond just working with exercises. It is very dependent on how we bring our awareness and our intent behind the activities that we do. So that's where I just want you to set your mind to now and start to find a nice, comfortable seated position. If you're new to the practice or you have trouble sitting on the floor, you can sit in a chair like myself. I injured my knee a few weeks ago, so I'm still weeks away from being able to sit on the floor. But if you're familiar with the practices of yoga and comfortable with a seated position on the floor, then please take that now. I'll insert a frame into the video to just give an idea of what that would look like. Just finding a nice comfortable seated position, gently closing down the eyes, lengthening through the spine, starting to become aware of your breath. So just the natural state of breathing, the natural inhale and exhale, not trying to control the breath at this point in time, just feeling the natural rhythm of the body through the breathing, paying attention to the air coming in, feeling a little bit cooler than the air going out, just having awareness, being aware of the behavior of the mind, maybe any physical distortion or vibration occurring within the body. Scan your awareness through the body. Hands are just resting on the knees. Shoulders are relaxed. Muscles in the face are relaxed. Eyes are closed. Just breath awareness, just for the moment. And if the mind is erratic or there's a lot of thoughts going on that aren't relative to what's happening now, let them be. Just be aware that they're happening. And when you catch yourself drifting off, just come back to the awareness of the breath. Start to feel along that spinal column, that nice tall spinal column. We'll start to bring some awareness into that neck and throat region now by slightly tucking the chin in. So we don't want to tip the forehead down or look down at the ground. We want to keep our eyes level. We just slightly draw the chin back in towards the chest, and you should feel that create a slight lock in the back of the neck. And I want you to use that lock to lengthen through the spine. Feel like you're drawing the energy up from the base of the spine all the way up through the neck, through to the crown of the head. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, just the natural flow of breath. And now start to bring awareness to those particular points along the spinal column around the belly button. Perhaps there might be some nervousness or a little bit of that butterfly type feeling in the stomach. Coming up into the chest, there might be a bit of tension in the chest. You might come up to the throat and realize that there's a bit of a lump or just a feeling of just blocked energy in that area. That's one area we want to be particularly aware of today. So really take note of that area around the throat, maybe the back of the neck, maybe there's some tension in the muscles there. Then coming up into the head, maybe there's a heaviness in the head or swirling vibrations or anything of this nature. Whatever those experiences that you're having, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, just be aware that they're all happening within the same sphere of awareness. So from that sphere of awareness, now start to take control of your breathing by consciously lengthening the inhale and exhale and trying to keep them nice and even. So as you inhale, expand the navel point out, and as you exhale, consciously draw the navel point in. So inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly consciously contracting back towards the spine, really expelling all of the carbon dioxide out of the body and starting to take control of that breath. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Perhaps you need to count it to to have a really nice and steady rhythm. If you can feel your natural pulse or the natural beat of the heart, use that as a timing mechanism. Otherwise, find a nice steady count. Inhale for maybe 5 or 10 counts, exhale for the same amount. And then just bring in the final stage of a full long deep breath just to get us tuned into the class and warmed up. Consciously start expanding that range of breath and filling the body up more by letting the belly rise and then engaging the diaphragm, bringing the air all the way up through the ribs, using the diaphragm to open the lungs up, bring the air all the way up to the top of the shoulders. And then once the body or the torso is full of oxygen, the lungs are full, and you feel them naturally at their maximum capacity, never trying to force or stretch anything, but then once they are there, just gently exhale, feel the body start naturally deflating from the shoulders back down into the ribs, the lungs naturally decompressing, the diaphragm coming back down, and then re-engaging the navel point all the way back towards the spine. Inhale, the belly will rise, body will naturally expand all the way up to the shoulders. Exhale, naturally contracting back down to the navel point, engaged back towards the spine. Keeping the eyes closed, keeping the awareness internal, and just getting a feel for your breath. And then bringing the hands together, rubbing them at the heart center, and then keeping the palms together, the thumbs press into the sternum at the mid-chest point, the heart center. Eyes are still closed, still keeping with that long deep breath, but just taking a moment to acknowledge that we are about to work with the practices of yoga and meditation. And just committing some time back to yourself. This is very valuable time to not only learn about yourself, but to give time back to yourself to change the energy in the body, release some tension. So just acknowledging that we're moving from our state of normal activity into the practices of yoga and meditation. Stay with that nice, long, deep breathing, body expanding and contracting. And just for a minute or so, I want you to bring all of your awareness into the throat center. So the pit of the throat. And if you're not used to moving your awareness around, just be conscious at the throat. So in a sense, imagine that everything happening in your experience at the moment is being observed from that pit of the throat. So even if the mind's racing, observe the mind from the pit of the throat, or even try to bring the thoughts into the throat. Just whatever is happening, direct all the awareness to that pit of the throat. Maybe it feels blocked, maybe it feels open and flowing, maybe there's nice vibrations happening there. Whatever the experience, just observe it and keep with that nice, long, deep breath. And then on your next exhale, exhale all of the air out of the body, keeping the hands at the heart center. Lock the air out of the body. And then inhale nice and deep to the top of the breath, maximum expansion of the lungs. Hold the breath and engage a lock at the base of the spine by drawing in the muscles of the rectum, the reproductive organ, and the navel point. So those lower muscle groups at the base of the spine. Squeeze them all in towards each other and hold them there. Sit up nice and tall, make sure the spine is still elongated. Exhale powerfully through the mouth while you release the lock. All the way to the bottom of the breath, the navel point's engaged again, keeping the hands there. Inhale nice and deep through the nose. Hold the breath, engage the root lock, so that lock at the base of the spine, muscles of rectum, reproductive organ, navel point, all drawn in. Take another sip of air. Engage the lock a little bit tighter, lengthen through the spine. Feel the energy all the way from that lock at the base of the spine up through the back of the neck, still engaged. Energy all the way through to the crown of the head. Keep the hands there. Exhale powerfully through the mouth. Navel points engaged. Last time, inhale deep. As deep as you can, fill the body up to its maximum expansion, but not forcing the body, holding the breath gently like a butterfly in a jar. And then having that root lock engaged. Inhale through the nose one more time. Another sip of air. Maximum expansion. Press the hands together. Root lock's engaged. entire spine, the whole body's engaged now. Engage the hands, press them in towards each other. Spine is lengthened, back of the neck, crown of the head, root lock, everything's engaged. Body might be shaking. And then exhale, slowly releasing the hands back down onto the knees. Palms facing up, spine stays straight. Going back to the natural flow of breath. Shoulders are relaxed, muscles in the face are relaxed. Eyes are closed. Natural flow of breath. Just observing the subtle shifts of energy. Trying to keep the awareness at the pit of the throat. Just seeing if anything's changed. Just observing. Now move the awareness to the back of the throat and around the neck. Just trying to tune in if there's any tension or tightness. Maybe one side of the neck is more constricted than the other, or it just feels like there's more blockage on one side of the neck or than compared to the other. Just bringing awareness into that. And we're going to start today's lesson by coming to our feet. So when you're ready, just gently opening the eyes, rubbing the hands a few times, making fists, shake the hands out. Bring the legs out if you're sitting on the ground, just shake the legs out. And then when you feel ready, just gently bring yourself up into a standing position. Once you've found your standing position, the feet should be naturally hip distance apart. The hands should be hanging, palms facing forward, shoulders are relaxed. Close the eyes again and just start to find your breath. So start to control your breath and take a moment to notice the difference between sitting and standing, the way that you feel, different flows of energy within the body along that spinal column. Just where there might be any heaviness or distortion through the body, or just any type of discomfort or pleasant sensations. Again, just being aware of them, being aware of those natural flows of energy in the body, controlling the breath. And we're just going to gently warm the neck up, so you can use me as a point of reference if you need to open the eyes, or just use my voice as the guide. On the next exhale, tilting the head forward, so bringing the chin in towards the chest. Not trying to force anything, but just finding its range of motion. So that's the exhale, head's coming forward, chin's tucking in towards the chest. And then on the inhale, we're bringing the head up and allowing it to tilt back. So inhale, the head's tilting back. Exhale, the head's coming forward, the chin's tucking in towards the chest. So exhale forward, inhale back. Not trying to force anything, finding your natural range of motion. And just as you slowly work through it, just start to go a little bit deeper with each exercise. So just working with your body's natural range of motion to see where you are at this point in time. Just slowly opening the neck up now. So loosening the muscles off at your own pace and rhythm in coordination with that nice conscious breath. Exhale as the head comes forward, inhale as it comes up. Just coming into the last round or two now. And on your next inhale, resetting the head back to a nice central position. Arms are still hanging loose, palms facing forward, still controlling the breath. And then on your next inhale, this time we'll gently twist the head to the left as we inhale. Exhale as we twist to the right, finding that full range of motion. Inhale left, exhale right. No stopping in the middle. And each breath, just go a little bit further with your range of motion and your breath. Again, not forcing anything, working with the natural range of motion of the neck at this point in time. Slowly opening it up on each cycle. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Trying to keep nice form and good posture. Isolating the movement in the neck. So if you feel other parts of the body moving, lessen the range of motion. You don't want the hips to be moving. You don't want the spine to be twisting. You don't want the shoulders to be tilting in relation to how the head's moving. So just try to isolate the movement of the neck and the head. Just deepen into it now. A few more rounds. Don't force anything, don't strain anything. Finding the own limitations of your body and working within them. And coming into the last few rounds now, and then inhaling back to a central position. And just one last exercise before we start. We'll just do a gentle swinging motion of the head. So exhale, swing the right ear over to the right shoulder as the head hangs forward and swings over to the left. And then inhale as we allow the head to drop back. Exhale as it swings forward. Inhale as it drops back. Right ear over to the right shoulder. Exhale as the head's hanging forward. Inhale as it's hanging back. And just feel each point as the neck moves around. You're drawing a big circle with the nose. And then inhaling back to the central point. And exhaling left ear over to the left shoulder. Head hanging forward. As you exhale, inhale as the head hangs back. Nice big circle. Trying to keep the rest of the body still. Working with the breath and the movement. Exhale, head's hanging forward. Inhale, head's hanging back. Left ear over towards the left shoulder. Nice big circles. Isolate the movement of the neck and head. If you feel other parts of the body move, lessen the range of motion. Last few rounds. Nice big circles. And just finishing that last rotation off. Inhaling back to the central point. Exhaling. Gently opening the eyes. Shake the hands out again. Shake the feet out. And then for the first exercise, we'll be bringing the hands back into a prayer mudra at the heart center. So palms touching, thumbs against the sternum to start off with. And again, using me as a point of reference, I'll be going side on for this. So bring the feet together. So from that hip distance apart, they now come together. And what we will be doing is we'll be coordinating the breath with the movement of the arms. And what we do is when we inhale, we'll be bringing the arms up to 60-degree angles like this. And at the same time, we'll be tilting the head back. So the inhale, the arms come up and the head tilts back to its full range of motion. And at the same time, the back of the head feels like it's fully hanging at its maximum range of motion. That's when the arms are fully engaged and elongated. And then we exhale and we start to bring the hands back into the chest. And once again, the head resets back to its neutral point as the thumbs connect to the sternum. So once you get a feel for that, close the eyes and find your own pace and rhythm with it. We'll be doing it for a couple of minutes. So it's inhale, the hands go out to 60-degree angles as the head goes back. Exhale, we reset back to that natural point, thumbs touching the sternum. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, finding your own pace and rhythm with it now. Eyes closed. If you have issues with your balance, then by all means keep the eyes open. Always have to work within your own limitations and the own restrictions of your body. But if you get a sense of balance and a bit of a feel for it, close the eyes and really focus on that coordination of the hands going out and the relationship to the balance of the back of the head. So you'll feel the whole body moving and responding to the technique, and you want to just feel those points of balance, the hands coming up, the head dropping back. So inhaling up, exhaling down, and really trying to meditate and coordinate that link between the hands, the back of the head. Just go for another minute or so. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Really feeling the pit of the throat being pulled on as well. We start to stimulate into that thyroid region of the body, which we were talking about in the video prior to this one. And if you haven't checked it out and you want a bit more of a deeper understanding around the science and benefits of these techniques beyond just the experience of the exercise, definitely go and check out the previous video. But just last couple of rounds now. And then making the next one your last one. And just as you exhale, resetting back to that nice central point, going back to the natural flow of breath for a moment, just observing the breath, not controlling it now. And then on your next exhale, just allowing the hands back down, separating the feet, shaking the hands out, making fists a few times. And then when you're ready, we'll be coming back into a seated position. So just taking a seated position now, so whether that's back in a chair or back on easy pose on the floor, just finding your nice, comfortable seated position now. So back in your comfortable seated position, hands are on the knees, palms facing up, shoulders are relaxed, eyes are closed, natural flow of breath for a moment. Just finding that state of awareness and calm. And we're going to do similar exercises as we did standing up, but this time just with a bit more awareness. And now that the neck's starting to open up, the energy's starting to flow through that area more freely, just be a little bit more conscious and go a little bit deeper within your movements, but again, working within the range and limitations of your body, not trying to force anything. Whenever we're working with the neck, we want to be nice and gentle and delicate with it. It's a very sensitive area of the body, and we're leading into meditation around this area. So we don't want to strain anything or put anything out of place. So find your breath once again, and keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. Turn the hands over, holding onto the knees again, and then consciously inhaling and exhaling. And once more, just inhaling, tilting, twisting the head and neck to the left, exhaling, twisting right. Inhale left, exhale right. And we're going to be doing this for a couple of minutes this time. So starting to delve a bit more into the meditative aspects of things now. So whenever you're catching your mind wander and drift off, just bring yourself back to a state of awareness through the connection of breath and movement. So if the mind drifts too far away from the experience of now, guide it back with the breath. Inhale left, exhale right. Once again, paying attention to wherever that other tensions might pop up in the body. So if you start feeling your hips sway or move, or your spine tilting or twisting, really trying to isolate that movement in the head and the neck. So inhale left, exhale right with awareness. So being aware of the mechanics of the neck and the movement of breath with the movement of body. Just a minute to go. Use that last minute now to go as deep into the movement as you can now. Again, not forcing or straining, but when you get to the end of your breath, just inhale a little bit more and just find a tiny bit more range of motion. Exhale, do the same thing. When you get to the bottom of the breath, make sure all the breath is out and go a little bit deeper. Inhale, maximum breath. Inhale a bit more, twist a little bit more. Exhale, same. All the breath all the way out. Your own pace and rhythm. Keeping it nice and controlled. We're still in a gentle phase of the work we're doing today. And then once again, coming back to that nice central point. Inhaling, exhaling, keeping the spine nice and tall. Stay with your controlled breath. And then this time when you exhale, tilting the head forward again. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then inhale, allowing the back of the head to go back, controlling the range of motion. Exhale, tuck the chin in. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward, your own pace and rhythm. Same as the previous exercise though. As you deepen into the experience of this, go a little bit deeper with the breath. So as you exhale, try to tuck the chin in a little bit closer to the chest. And then as you inhale, allow that weight of the back of the head to open up the pit of the throat, stimulating that thyroid gland, stimulating all those nerves and blood vessels and arteries through the neck, everything that's running through there. There's so much energy. Everything passes through that area of the neck. All of the other communications and signals of the body all go through that neck region. So just being aware of that being open up, channels of energy being open up, bringing the meditation into the experience, building towards what we're ultimately going to be working with in this set today, which is getting into a throat chakra, subtle energy meditation around that area of the body. So just opening it up, being aware, shoulders stay nice and relaxed, keep connected to the breath. We're in the last 30 seconds or so now, so making the most of this time that you're giving back to yourself. Deepening in. Allow the body to open up and go through its changes. Don't get despondent with what we're doing. Keep the awareness, because if we lose the awareness, we move out of yoga. We'll just be doing exercise, which is very beneficial in itself, but we're trying to delve into the practices of yoga and meditation through our awareness. Last couple. Exhale, tilt the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, let the back of the head drop back. And then just resetting back to that nice tall central position. Checking in to make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Just natural flow of breath for a moment. Keeping the eyes closed. Then finding your breath again, and on your next inhale, bring the arms out to be parallel to the floor. So the arms are straight out to the sides from the shoulders. The palms are facing up. They're nice and stable, nice and steady. Lock in the elbows. We're going to go back into the twisting motion of the head and the neck. Inhaling left, exhaling right, but this time a little bit faster. So whatever your natural pace of rhythm is, just speed it up by 50%. If you feel like you've got a good control of your neck and everything's open, it can be a little bit more rapid. But be very, very mindful of what you're doing and aware of that area. If there's any tension, then just back off a little bit. We don't want to strain anything. We don't want to cause an injury. We're going to go for 2 minutes, so you've got 2 minutes to work into it. Inhale left, exhale right. And you can gradually pick the pace and rhythm up if you feel that the body or the neck opens up over time throughout this 90 seconds or so to go. Inhale left, exhale right. And if you don't feel comfortable with speeding it up, if anybody's maybe got issues with sense of vertigo or get dizziness from that, then stay with the nice controlled breath. Just by making that simple adjustment of bringing the arms up to shoulder height and palms facing up, it puts different pressure on the glands and the organs. So it stimulates a different effect, even though we're still just doing very simple movements of the head and neck. We're doing them in a systematic way. We're doing them with awareness, and we're working towards meditation. So these are all very beneficial for what they do. And maybe this is the first time you've tried a type of yoga like this, but this is very, very beneficial stuff. So just keep practicing with that awareness, and then decide on how everything is after the session. So however we feel after this, that's what you should base the value of the experience on. And so right now we just want to be getting the most out of ourselves. So 30 seconds to go. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Make the most of it now. Keep those arms up. Don't let them drop down. If they feel like they've dropped down, bring the arms up. Make sure the palms are still facing up. There's locks in the elbows. Try and keep the arms nice and balanced, parallel to the ground. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Lock in the elbows. Make sure the energy is pushing all the way through the shoulders out to the fingertips. Keeping the body stable. That spine should be nice and tall. Lock in the back of the neck even though it's moving. Still have that awareness of it, holding that good position. And then keeping the arms up. Inhale and reset the head back to the central position. Hold the breath. Engage the root lock. So draw in the muscles of the rectum, reproductive organ and navel point. Take another sip of air. Now tense the whole body. Tense the arms. Tense the root lock. Push the hands away from each other. Lock in the back of the neck. Push the energy up through to the crown of the head. One more sip of air. Tense the whole body. Tense everything. Hold it. Hold it. And then gently exhale, relax the body, bringing the hands back down onto the knees slowly. Palms will be facing up. Shoulders relaxed, natural flow of breath. And then just coming back to your awareness. We're going to move positions once again, so just gently opening the eyes, bringing the legs out in front. If you're already seated on the ground, then there's no need to move. Then just bring the legs out in front, shake them off. If you're sitting in a chair, come out of the chair and we're going to go onto the ground with our legs stretched out. So as we take a comfortable seated position on the floor, we're going to just shake the legs out a little bit more, and I'll demonstrate this from side on in a moment. But basically what we're going to be doing in this exercise is just tilting the head back. So slightly leaning back at the hips, about a 30-degree angle, and tilting the head back, allowing the natural weight. So the hands are just behind the hips, supporting the body to lean back at that 30-degree angle. And looking up at the roof, keeping the eyes open and just your natural state of breath. So from side on, it looks like this. We're just naturally allowing the head to tilt back, and we're going to stay in this position for a few minutes. So the pressure will build up, and I just want everybody to try and stay as still as possible. So feel the weight of the head and allow the head to just drop back. Keep the eyes open. Fixate on a point of the roof. Natural flow of breath. Relaxing, and try to find perfect stillness within that posture. So not moving any other part of the body, just following the breath. Keeping fixated on the roof. And just allow the body to go through its natural process with this. Just when you feel the tension build up, breathe into it. Really work on just surrendering to the experience. It's not an easy thing to do. The first 30 seconds or so, it doesn't seem like too much of a challenging posture. But as the time goes on and the pressure builds up, it becomes a little bit more challenging, and that will trigger other things to happen within the response of the psyche, and that discomfort can become quite agitating for some people. And if that does happen for you, make that part of the experience. So allow it to happen, and allow any agitation or resistance towards the posture that comes up, just allow that to be part of the experience. Deepen into the awareness of breath, but the breath might start to naturally become more heavy. You might even feel that same sort of heaviness behind the eyes, almost like a feeling of tiredness. Again, it's all part of the procedure, and allowing the body to release energy. We're stimulating the glands and the nerves around the throat, bringing all sorts of physiological benefits into the body, psychological benefits. But keep with that awareness. That's a very integral aspect to really maximize what we're doing here. So just for the last minute, just really start to surrender now and consciously try to let go. So it might even feel like the head's going to drop back further. And once again, if it feels like it's causing any strain, pain, or discomfort that doesn't feel like it's bringing some kind of benefit in the release that it will ultimately bring, then definitely bring yourself out of it, and then maybe try to reset and not go as deep into the posture. But wherever you are now, try to give your maximum sense of surrender into the posture, and just allow everything to be natural and as still as possible. Eyes open, fixated on a point of the roof. Body is still. Awareness is on the breath and the surrender. Then on your next inhale, slowly bring the head back up and reset the hips back up into a nice, straight, tall seated position. Shake the legs out, roll the ankles a few times in each direction. Shake the legs out, bring the hands up, shake the hands out, make fists a few times, and then we'll just be coming out of this position and coming back into a seated position. So when you feel ready and stable, we'll just come back into our seated position, whether that's in the chair or just coming back into a cross-legged position. Coming back into the seated position now. If you've got the legs crossed and you're on the floor or in the chair, the hands should be sitting on the knees, palms facing up. You can take Gyan Mudra if you're familiar with the practice and feel comfortable with it. Otherwise, just keep the palms open. And just before we close the eyes, take a look at the screen now, which is showing the symbol of the fifth chakra, Vishuddha, taking in the color, the shape, everything you can take in about it. And the meditation we're going to work with is trying to recreate that image and imagining that we're holding it at the throat center, at that pit of the throat. So once you've taken a good look at that image, close the eyes down, keep the spine nice and tall, natural flow of breath. If you're new to visualization and you find that the mind's racing around and it's very hard to recreate that image, then just picture blue light at that area of the throat. This is going to be a 7-minute meditation, and the meditation is just on the natural flow of breath and maintaining that visualization at the throat center. So either picturing the fifth chakra image or the blue light, creating your own vision of blue light at the throat center and just meditating on that image. And when you catch the mind wandering and not being able to recreate that image, guide yourself through the breath and try to keep recreating the same image, and over time just re-perfecting that mechanism of using visualization. It's a part of our being, the ability to visualize and create imagery, and how that dictates the way that our lives are led. It's a very important function of our existence. So we're just going into that meditation now, and I'll keep that picture up of the chakra on the screen, but now it's time for you to delve into that meditation for the next 6 minutes or so. Hold that image of the chakra. If you can't maintain the image of the chakra, then just visualize blue healing light. As we move into the final half of the meditation, maintain complete physical stillness. Hold your awareness at the pit of the throat. As you maintain your awareness and visualization of that fifth chakra or blue healing light, remain in that complete physical stillness. Also bring awareness to the sound of this binaural beat. This is creating two sounds of slightly different frequencies. So tune into the sound over the last few minutes and really delve in and make the most out of the practice. And slowly taking control of the breath again, just bringing yourself out of the visualization and back to the breath awareness. Body expanding and contracting, expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. Just taking control of the breath, bringing yourself back into awareness of your surroundings, awareness of other parts of the body, awareness of the behavior of the mind. And we'll finish off in a similar way to how we began, and that will be by bringing the hands together at the heart center and rubbing them quite vigorously. Pressing the thumbs against the sternum, keeping the spine nice and elongated. Controlling your breath one last time, taking a moment to acknowledge the work that you've done, the time that you've given back to yourself, the healing that's taken place. Respecting the practices of Kundalini yoga and meditation, respecting yourself, and understanding that the work that we've done releases energy and will create different states of awareness and bring self-realization and change. So it's not always what directly happens in the practice, and just bringing your intention behind that. Whatever you get from the practice now, you'll take into the hours and days to come, and just be aware of whatever changes and keep the awareness and your attention on just how your experience of life might differ, and remembering that working on the subtle energies of that region of the throat, it's always related to our truth and the ability to be and speak who we are from the depths of our soul. So just acknowledging that as a final part of the practice. And we always sign off by using the mantra Sat Nam. Sat is truth, Nam is identity, and it's a way of acknowledging that truth is our essence. So Sat Nam. And you can just gently bring the hands back down onto the knees, or whatever's a comfortable position for you. Feel free to open the eyes at your own leisure when you feel comfortable to do so. Just bring yourself back into the room. And that concludes another lesson of Kundalini Yoga. So thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to share the experience of these techniques with people, even though it's still through these means of digital technology, which is fantastic that we can still share together. And once again, thanks for joining in. If you've got any questions or there's any other techniques you would like me to go into, just leave a comment, and definitely looking forward to making more videos and connecting with everybody again soon. But until then, Sat Nam.